All right, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am really looking forward to this segment. Many people know I'm a really big baseball fan, and any excuse I have to talk about great baseball players and great legacies, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm also thrilled because one of my good friends is here. Eliezer Rodriguez is with us. He is the founder of Project Club Clemente, and the Flight for Humanity was his brainchild. And of course, people know him from the real estate industry. We're not talking about that today.
Not today.
Nice to have you, Eliezer.
Uh,
What did you make of all of Major League Baseball wearing number 21? Just what, a week or two ago?
I loved it. I happened to be at
Oh,
that
that's right. You're at City Field
game.
that night, right? That's right.
Yeah. And for me to look down and see all those players wearing number 21, for me, it was sort of like a dream come true. It was a very special moment for me.
Needless to say, that you would agree if they said, then let's retire that number across Major League Baseball,
Well,
presumably.
I would tell you that I stayed out of that conversation
Really?
for many years because I thought that someone's going to spearhead that and make that happen. But as time has gone by, we're reaching its 50th anniversary. I am at this point going and reliving some of my experiences when I did the Flight for Humanity. So now, for the first time, I'll let you know I'm in favor of retiring number 21.
Wow, I think it would be very special. I don't want to get teary eyed because I get emotional about baseball. Must have been exciting as all get when Lindor hit that home run, and he was emotional about it too. And he hit a home run on Clemente night. That was pretty good.
Fantastic. It's a special
Yeah.
moment. Yes.
Why? I mean, stupidest question of the day. Why is Roberto Clemente so revered? Why did we name a center of 149th Street after Roberto Clemente? I mean, there's a new plaza, Roberto Clemente Plaza. Why is he so special? Why do people like you and many others, even me, want to see his number retired across baseball? What makes him the great one?
Well, the great one played baseball as a means to an end. And the end was to help the people that were less fortunate. He gave up his time to go out and teach the kids baseball. He had a great pride for his hometown. He represented baseball players. I call him the pulse of Major League Baseball, what every baseball player ought to be like when they're not wearing a uniform. He represented baseball on and off the field. And how and what he did with his life and how he died just adds to the mystique of the great one.
I do remember that night, or the next morning. It was New Year's morning, and getting the news, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that can't possibly have happened." It was just so. Why don't you recount what the great Clemente was doing? By the way, just before we move on to that, um, this guy could really play the game.
Yeah,
I mean, he had the best arm I ever saw as a kid. There's no question about it. He could throw from right field and onto a line to third base or to home or wherever it was going.
strong runner.
And and as a base runner, he was, I mean, five tools. He had 15 tools.
Wow.
And his passion, New Yorkers and people, of course, we've followed baseball all our lives.
Mhm.
To see that passion is something that rings true. But what was he doing on that New Year's Eve? And then what did you do
Okay.
many years later to kind of make good on the promise?
Well, on New Year's Eve, Roberto Clemente loaded the last batch of aid that was left behind because he had sent several to Nicaragua, and he heard that
We should say this is 1972 to 73. That December 31st to New Year's Day, right?
in 1972, he loaded up the aircraft and with the last batch of aid, and he was going to personally take it to Nicaragua because he heard that the soldiers were taking the aid that he was sending to Nicaragua. So he figured, if I take it myself, no one's going to take it, and it'll get to the people. Apparently, the flight attempted to take off a couple of times. And then on the third time when it took off, it had issues, problems, and it tried turning back around. And about 9:23 p.m. on December 31st, the plane crashed into the ocean, and we lost well. When that happened, baseball lost a star, America lost a hero,
The world lost a hero. Let's not minimize it.
and Puerto Rico lost a native son.
Right. And also let's face it, Nicaragua did not get the aid, and that aid was in the way of food and supplies and all those kinds of things. So
Right.
then you decided somewhere along the way, now so that was 1972, but in 2000 or soon after that, you decided we should complete that mission in his name, right?
Yeah, Gary, and the way it started in 1993, I had a dream about a bunch of little kids who only had one shirt, and that shirt was number 21, Roberto Clemente. And at the end of the year, the team will get together and pick the most valuable player, and the most valuable player will wear that shirt the following year. And the whole town acted as though that child was the real Roberto Clemente. That was
Wow.
the dream. And at the end, there was a riddle that said, "You share my numbers back for me." So that got me going. I thought,
I never heard that story. That's a fascinating story. What now you said the whole town. What town was that?
Philadelphia,
Okay.
and this was in my dream. It was in Philadelphia.
Sorry.
So it this whole thing was inspired by a reoccurring dream. So I got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I started doing research on the numbers. So I was born December 13th. Clemente died December 31st. I thought that the 30th anniversary was coming up. So I thought maybe perhaps this is to promote the 30th anniversary of his 3,000 hits and his death. And that's how it started. Then I did several successful programs to promote his legacy. I like to think that my work encouraged the Clemente family to go on and celebrate the 30th anniversary because I met with them. And then Major League Baseball went on to celebrate his death. And I think my work encouraged many other people and inspired them to promote Clemente's legacy, like to retire Clemente's number 21 and so on. So after several successful programs, I realized that the whole time I've been ignoring the latter part of that riddle. You share my numbers, bad for me. It was one when it was
And so I want to just move it ahead. So what you decided to do was basically do the mission. You got food together, you put them on a plane, and then you actually did it.
I reenacted his last humanitarian mission. And a lot of people don't know that on December 31st, 2005, I chartered an aircraft and we loaded up in Puerto Rico. Clemente Jr. went with me, and we traveled from Puerto Rico to Nicaragua, and we got to Puerto Rico before 10 p.m. on December 31st.
Wow.
And we could simply say to the world that Clemente's last promise was fulfilled.
And so we're looking at pictures of the earthquake that happened just beforehand. You boarded that plane, and you were with that, of course, is Roberto. But you boarded that plane, and you were with Roberto Clemente Jr.
Yes, and ironically, Gary, when the flight that I had chartered was getting to Puerto Rico, one of the engines blew. So I got a call from the pilot
My goodness!
letting me know that the plane was no longer available. But I had a contract for two airplanes, that one and a backup, and they told me the backup was also in maintenance. So I had to scramble. I had a couple of hours on the 31st to get another aircraft, and I was able to get another DC-10, and
And that picture, by the way, we just saw that was Roberto Clemente Jr., his son.
right, and there he is reading some of the stuff that I brought with me about Roberto Clemente. We took some stuff because we wanted to meet with some kids over there. So we had some memorabilia and stuff to share with the
Wow.
stories. Yeah, it was a wonderful trip. We were greeted by the president of Nicaragua. They gave us the red carpet. They love him there, Gary. They love him. He's a hero. He's like a god in Nicaragua. They treat him.
And then you brought how many pounds of food? Do we have some characterization of that?
Yeah, about 18,000 pounds of aid. And we took medicine and we made sure that it got to certain clinics. We took pictures of the medicine on the shelves. We wanted to make sure all the work we did
Wow.
to honor Clemente was done properly.
The other thing that you pointed out to me, so I think it's September 30th was the date of 1972. He got his final hit was the 3,000th hit.
And Gary, that was his last major league at bat. Uh,
Wow.
in the
That
red.
was his 3,000th hit of his career.
And I would say that because I dubbed him the gatekeeper of the 3,000 hit club. He's the welcoming committee. Every member that comes in, he was number
Because
nine.
that was his final hit. But what struck me when they replayed this during a ball game the other night, during Clemente night, the announcer, I think it's Bob Prince, who was renowned as an announcer, Pirates announcer, called him Bobby.
No, you'll do that. Don't do that.
I was shocked when I heard that. I was like, in 1972, and I got this baseball card, which is from when I was a kid, where you could just see it, where they called him Bob Clemente.
Yes.
It's disgraceful. It's just, especially because he said he didn't like it.
No, he liked that one better. Roberto Clemente. That's his rookie card right there.
And it says Roberto on there.
Roberto Clemente. He hated Bobby. You know that.
And so this was trying to anglicize him. And why? To me, this is a reason to make sure that we retire his number, because he was subject to prejudice and everything else. I don't want to say just like Jackie Robinson. We don't want to equate them, but he was original and courageous in his own way for his own people.
And Gary, when I go to school to talk to kids, I talk about Jackie Robinson and I talk about Roberto Clemente. And I say Clemente is Jackie Robinson's other half. And if you
Yeah.
look at it, Clemente's number is half of Jackie Robinson's. And also, they both died in 72.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
They have a lot of similarities.
Wow.
Jackie,
Anyway, listen, Eliezer Rodriguez, we got to go.
Yeah.
Project Club Clemente. Is there anything else you want to just let us know before we? I don't know if we could
Yes.
see it.
That's his signature. And I do want to tell you, Gary, that last year for his anniversary of his big league debut, I finished my screenplay that depicts my experience with my dream and my real life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's called the light in the shadow in darkness.
When it's ready to go, obviously we're here.
Yes.
We'll be friends for a long time, I expect.
Yes.
Eliezer Rodriguez, there you go. I don't root for the Pirates, but I do root for number 21. And the Pirates took care of my Mets, unfortunately, and that did not make me happy. Anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for keeping the legacy alive. And guess what, folks? That's the end of our program. What a great program. Talked about the North Bronx, the Kingsbridge Armory, talked about the legacy of Roberto Clemente. What could be better? You know what happens next? We'll see you next week. Good night.